Grab your bat gadgets and get ready to look at the new super stealthy Reivers. Spiky bits. What's up, hobby maniacs? Rob Baer back again with you today, kicking off all the new Space Marine releases this week. Now today, in this video, we're going to take a look at the Primaris Reivers, but of course we have the Aggressors, along with the Redemptor Dreadnought, of course the Codex, and the data cards to go over as well. And then next week, we will be getting all the new special characters in the tank and all the stuff that keeps coming out for the new Space Marines in 8th edition. So these guys, brand new box set, $60 retail, comes with all sorts of crazy bits in here. Of course, these are way more detailed, way more parted out. This is your normal multi-part kit, unlike the easy to build units that we saw come out last week or 2 weeks ago for $15. These guys are going to have the grab chutes, they're going to have their heavy bolt pistols, of course, your combat knives, but maybe more importantly, the grapnel launcher. So these guys are the ultimate 40k Batman boogeyman's going to come in out of nowhere, maybe in your back lines, but probably in your front lines, depending on how smart of a player you're going to play against, and just start doing the Lord's work to all that stuff. Now, this is the normal 10 box or 10-man box set. That's, of course, we know the unit size is 5 to 10 now, seeing the units that came out on Games Workshop site. Now, it was previously 3 and everybody kind of lost their shit over it, but to be honest, I guess there was a little bit of that kind of deserved on Games Workshop's part for getting a little confused with the rules there between the easy to build and then these guys right here. So you're going to get 2 of the same sprues that come in this kit. One, so you can build basically 5 with each one, right? So they're going to have multi-part legs, so it's a little bit more involved on the build themselves, but they are going to be more detailed. Now, the torsos right here are going to be twisted, and they're all going to be certain ones that you got to grab the legs, and the legs go into, so that's going to be really interesting. As far as the backpacks go, they're the new kind of Primaris pattern that we saw in the past with the guys that came in the Dark Imperium box, right? There's going to be all sorts of head variants here. You've got the ones with the skulls and the helmet, or the skulls and just the bare heads right there. Then you got some yelling guys, you got some scars and stuff, some bald-headed guys, whatever you want. It's your prerogative right there. And then the combat knife sheath, your 2 grenades. Remember, these guys also have the shot grenades too, and you can have all of those multi-parted out on the torsos right here, which look really cool. So there's lots of cool detail in each one of these. And then over here, let's see if we can zoom in on this. So these are gonna be your weapon sprues. Now, we know there's the grapnel launchers, and that's really cool, you know, the whole batarang or bat launcher. So you got the one that's already kind of wound up here, and you got the one that's separate, it's kind of sticking out. Now, this bit definitely seems a little fidgety. I would be very careful with this when you put it in your bag. And then there's the grapnel right there that kind of shoots out. Now, everything else looks built pretty well. They've got these new carbines right here with that. All it is really a bolter with just a handle on the front. I mean, you could kind of convert that yourself if you wanted that particular look. You do have a set of the grav chutes to go with each one of the guys if you want, but as far as the grapnels go, you're not gonna have, even though each guy can have one, it only looks like 2 come in each of these sprues. So you're gonna have a total of 4. Even though they can all have it, I don't think there's one in here for each one, although there is the carbine option. You got some with the hands, some without the hands. And remember, all these guys are going to go to specific arm types right here, which we're about to see in the Reiver box right here. Now, as far as the transfers go, nothing really to see super crazy right here. There's no real spoilers. It's just, hey, we know there's lieutenants. We know there's, battle lines, which used to be called troops, close support, which is assault now, or used to be assault, fire support, which, of course, was heavy support, and veteran, which was elite back in the day. So it seems like they're kind of remaking all those traditional battlefield roles that we all used to know there. And as far as the instructions go, well, just as we already showed you, the legs are going to be 2-part, but they're going to slot into certain torsos to give you those certain poses. And then, of course, you can kind of decide where you want to go. You want to go with the heavy bolt pistol. You can do that right here. You want to go with one of the carbines pointed up, or if you want to go with this right here with a hand on it, perhaps underslung, almost, I guess that's, it's not quite in the ready position right there, but pretty close. You can do all that, or say you want to go with one right here where he's reloading it. There's all sorts of different arm options on those particular weapons right there. So it just kind of depends on what look you want to do, and they show you over here what you're working with. So it's kind of cool there. And then of course we showed you all the crazy heads that are involved here, and then right there with the grab shoot, and then all of your accoutrement right there. So that's basically a brief overview of how to make each one. Now remember, there's no like heavy weapon or anything in here, so they're all pretty much the same for that part, exchangeability wise and things like that. Getting into the actual rules, well, now we've got a lot of different, that's not a language we can understand right there. There's a lot of different rules here, and let's take a look at them. Of course, you've got the Reiver squad here in the new codex, which is also going to be included here. Now, this is going to give you the power level, which is also right here. It just looks a little different, of course. So you've got your movement and your ballistic skill your movement of 6, which is actually kind of fast for, you know, a guy in clanking armor here. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, so that's looking super fresh. Then you've got strength of 5, toughness of 4, 2 wounds, as always with the Primaris right there. Attacks of 2, leadership 7, and a 3-up save, and then they give you all of the extra weapons here. Now, we've seen a heavy bolt pistol in the past. This thing is pretty good. It's almost like a heavy bolter, but with a reduced range at -1 AP. The bolt carbine that we just showed you there, kind of coming out of nowhere, but well, we kind of knew it was in there. Assault 2 with no AP right there at 24, so it's basically a storm bolter of sorts. Then you got frag grenade, crack grenade, and then the nefarious shot grenade. Let's see if they fix the wording on that. This weapon does not inflict any damage. Enemy infantry is hit by the shot grenade, is stunned until the end of the turn. It cannot fire Overwatch, and your opponent must subtract 1 from any hit rolls made for the unit. That's kind of interesting. Okay, any hit rolls made for the no timetable right there. Until it is stunned until the end of the turn. So the turn, remember turn, there's battle round and player turn. So that's an important distinction to make right there. So it almost still seems like this will only affect things during your turn, or excuse me, your player turn, and the battle round is both player turns. So I'm not sure if that wording matches up with the intent there, but maybe we'll hear more about that here in the near future. And then the grappling launchers, of course, we know that you do not have to add vertical distance if they are all armed with the grappling launchers. Now, all of them can just arbitrarily take a grappling launcher right there. They may also all take grab shoots if they want, or they can replace the bolt carbine with a combat knife right there. So they all come standardly equipped with a bolt carbine, a heavy bolt pistol, frag grenades, crack grenades, and shot grenades. So if you want to get that extra attack for your combat knife, melee user, yep, 1 additional attack right there, you're going to have to sub out the bolt carbine. But otherwise, they have the 2 choices there, the -1 AP shot at 12 or 2 shots at 24. And then of course the grab shoots are looking fresh. They allow you to deep strike in more than 9 inches away from enemy units right there. You can also, you can descend, set it. What was the thing where they could come in? Oh, you can also split them into combat squads, subtract 1 from leadership if they were within 3. Maybe that was the grappling launcher. Oh yeah, that's the whole behind enemy lines. It's also conferred from the grappling launcher. That allows you to come in from any board edge. Now, I'm sure if your opponent, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's so broken. Well, if your opponent knows that you can do this, they're probably going to string out their models so that you still have to come in at least in front of them, even though it may be from the board edge in front of them 6 inches with battlefield of your choice, more than 9 inches away from enemy models. So they can still box you out of their actual rear deployment zone or real board edge if you're playing against a canny or dodgy opponent there, but just kind of keep that in mind. That is not an auto gotcha, but these things are still pretty cool nonetheless. Points wise, let's check it out right here, see what they clock in at. So we've got the Reiver squad here at the fantastic 5 to 10, and of course at 18 points a model right there. And then as far as their weapons go, you're going to be looking at the bolt carbine at 0, the heavy bolt pistol, where is that? Heavy bolt pistol at 0, but remember it is heavy, so it's going to subtract 1 to shooting unless you stand still. And is that all the weapons? I suppose that's all of the offensive weapons that you would actually pay for. Let's see if Shot Grenade has a price. I don't think it will. It did not pass. Nope, it's 0. So there you go. It looks like it's just the stock price right there that we just named off for these guys. So Reiver Squad, definitely looking cool. One of the more, I guess, characterful units in the new Space Marine Codex. And of course, almost a fan favorite from the get-go for their uncanny resemblance to the Boogeyman, to the Batman, to, I don't know, can Night Lords take these yet? Some really cool stuff here. These models are definitely looking great, and I'm sure we will see more of them in the future on the tabletop there. So that's it for this one, folks. Thanks for checking out our review of the new Primaris Reivers squad. If you like our video features here on the channel, make sure you subscribe to us and head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.